Good morning. Okay guys, today we are going to start off by exploring the different types of rocks. And I want to start off by just kind of seeing what you guys already know about rocks. Can someone tell me something about rocks? Yes.
There's all different kinds of rocks.
There are lots and lots and lots of different kinds of rocks. So we'll put that on. What's something else? Let's see. Okay, what else?
Some are valuable.
Yeah, some rocks are actually worth a lot of money, right? All right, what is something else?
Some have holes in them.
Yeah, some rocks have holes inside of them. They're not all just really smooth, are they? They have different textures to them. So we're going to put different textures. Okay, so there's a lot of different things about rocks. They have a lot of different sizes, shapes, colors. Some are worth more, some aren't. But what are some other things that maybe we don't know about rocks yet that we would like to know?
What ones are valuable, like what their names are?
Yeah, which rocks are valuable? Which ones are worth something? If you're out walking down the street and you see a pretty rock, wouldn't you like to know, like, oh, this one's worth some money. Maybe I could put it in my pocket and find somebody who wants it. So we want to know which rocks are worth money, which are valuable. Okay, what's something else maybe you want to know? Let's see. Brinley?
What are their names?
What are their names? Yeah, which rocks are which? Because if you know which ones are valuable and you know their names, then you'll be able to pick them out, right? You'll be able to better figure out which ones are which. So, what are their names? Okay, what's one more thing? Let's see.
Which ones have gems inside of them?
Yeah, which rocks are pretty inside, right? Sometimes rocks may look kind of gray or ugly on the outside, but when you cut them in half and you open them up, they're like jewels inside. They're like finding a treasure. So yeah, it would be pretty to know, it would be nice to know which ones have the pretty jewels inside. So which have gems. All right, so there's a lot of good things here. So let's start off, we're going to talk about rocks. But there are three different categories that you can put rocks in. And the first category we're going to talk about is called igneous. Turn to your partner. I want you to say igneous.
Igneous.
Good. All right. So igneous rocks, the best way to sort of remember them is they start off as sort of a melted substance. And as that substance cools off, they harden into a rock. And those rocks we call igneous rocks. And the best example I like to use is you think about a volcano. When a volcano erupts, what comes out?
Lava.
Lava. And lava is real gooey and you just kind of see it flowing. It's almost like liquidy looking, isn't it? But as the lava flows down and it cools off, it hardens up into a rock. And that is a great example of an igneous rock. I have some pictures here of different types of igneous rocks. And you can kind of see they have pictures of volcanoes too in there. But these are some igneous rocks that are formed when kind of a molten lava cools off. Now the next type of rock we're going to go into is called sedimentary. Can you turn to your partner and say sedimentary?
Sedimentary.
Good. Okay, so a sedimentary rock is a rock that is formed when lots of different materials get pressed together in layers. And they settle in layers, and sometimes that can be fossils. You may see little seashells in these rocks, or they may have really pretty lines on them that kind of let you know they have formed into these layers. So when you think of sedimentary, think of something that all these different materials that settle into the earth into layers, and those are sedimentary rocks. Another type of rock, our third type of rock we're going to talk about is called metamorphic. Can you say metamorphic?
Metamorphic.
Good. Metamorphic rocks, let's see. They are rocks that are actually heated up. So when I think about metamorphic rock, a good example would be think about an egg that you're cooking. You put all your ingredients, your eggs, your milk, maybe you have some peppers or mushrooms or things you like to add to it. You put it on the stove and you heat it up, don't you? That's how you cook it. You add heat, and heat adds pressure to it, and it cooks it into one omelet. So it's taking different materials, it's heating them up, and they kind of form together to form a metamorphic rock. So we've got our 3 different types of rocks, and we're actually going to do something really fun today. We are going to split into our small groups, and you are going to get to look at real rocks, and you are going to decide, you are the scientist today, you're going to decide, is this rock igneous, is it sedimentary, or is it metamorphic? So before we split, I want to go back over. I want you guys to tell me how you can determine which is which, okay? So igneous, somebody tell me, how would we know an igneous rock?
It's when lava comes out and the lava cools down and makes a rock.
Right, it's something that was hot, and as it cools, it forms into a rock. Very good. What about sedimentary? How do we know sedimentary?
It's where different layers form like underground from pressure, and sometimes there's like fossils and things in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got different materials. Sometimes it's fossils and bones. You can see little animals in there sometimes. And as the earth, the dirt moves over the earth, it settles into all these layers and it's pressed into a rock. And that's our sedimentary rock. And last, we've got metamorphic. How do we know metamorphic?
It's cool, it's heated up, and it puts pressure on it.
Very good. So when we heat up a substance or different materials, they're pressed together by that heat and almost like cooked into a metamorphic rock. And so we've got 3 different styles of rocks. We're going to take a look at those, and I'm going to go ahead and let you split into your groups so we can get started.